You walk into a room and suddenly you become aware of everything. Your hands, your face, the way you are standing. But the real answer is far stranger. The room is probably not watching you nearly as much as you think. You know the feeling. You enter a classroom a few minutes late and every head seems to turn. You walk down a crowded street wearing something slightly unusual and you imagine strangers noticing it from every direction. You make one awkward comment in a meeting, and hours later your brain is still replaying the silence. Why does one tiny mistake feel as if it has been projected on a giant screen? Because your mind is standing at the center of a world that nobody else can see. Every moment of your life arrives through your own eyes. Your thoughts are the loudest sounds you hear. Your emotions color the entire scene. Your body is always present, your memories are always available, and your private worries follow you into every room. So your brain makes a quiet assumption: if this moment feels enormous to you, it must look enormous to everyone else. But other people are standing at the center of their own worlds. They are thinking about their own faces, their own mistakes, their own unfinished messages, their own worries about what you might think of them. And while you were wondering whether everyone noticed the strange thing you said, someone nearby may be wondering whether everyone noticed the strange thing they said. This is called the spotlight effect. The name sounds simple, but the idea reveals something deep about the way your mind builds reality. You behave as if a bright spotlight is following you through the world, eliminating every flaw, every awkward movement, every stain, every hesitation. Yet most people are not sitting in the audience. They are carrying spotlights of their own. How often have you replayed a small embarrassment long after everyone else forgot it? Psychologists Thomas Gilovich, Victoria Medvik, and Kenneth Savitsky explored this question in a famous study published in 2000. Their experiment was built around a situation many people would find painfully uncomfortable. A student arrived wearing an embarrassing t-shirt, then entered a room where other students were already working. The student had to imagine that the shirt was impossible to miss. Before entering, the student predicted that nearly half the people in the room would notice it, but when the researchers later asked the other students, far fewer had noticed. The person wearing the shirt felt like the center of attention. The room did not experience the moment that way. Why was the prediction so wrong? Because the shirt was impossible for the wearer to ignore. It was attached to their body. It shaped every second of the experience. The wearer could feel the embarrassment before entering the room, during the walk to the chair, and while sitting among strangers. The observers had no access to that private emotional storm. They saw a room full of people. Then they returned to their own thoughts. That difference matters. Your attention is not a camera recording the world from nowhere. It is a camera mounted inside your life. It naturally points toward whatever affects you most. When you are embarrassed, your mind zooms in. When you are anxious, it searches for signs that other people noticed. When you feel exposed, ordinary glances can begin to look like evidence. But are those glances really about you? Sometimes, yes, people do notice you. They notice what you say, how you act, and how you appear. The spotlight effect does not mean you are invisible. It means your estimate of how much attention you receive is often inflated because you experience yourself from the inside. Imagine spilling a drink at a restaurant. The glass falls, the sound is loud, your clothes are wet, you feel heat rise into your face. For several seconds, the entire room seems to freeze. You may remember the event for years. But what do the other diners experience? A sudden noise, a quick glance, then a return to their conversation. Your brain stores the event with all the emotional information attached to it. Their brains may store almost nothing. The same moment exists in different forms because each person occupies a different point of view. This is not just a mistake in judgment, it is connected to a larger problem psychologists call egocentrism. In everyday language, egocentrism can mean selfishness. In psychology, it often means something more basic: difficulty separating your own perspective from another person's perspective. You know what you know, you feel what you feel, You can see the information inside your mind. Then, without meaning to, you assume that other people have access to it more than they actually do. Jean Piaget studied this pattern in children. He showed that young children often struggle to imagine how a scene looks from another person's position. As people grow, they become much better at understanding other minds, yet the old starting point never disappears completely. You still begin with yourself. How could you begin anywhere else? Your brain has spent your entire life learning one person in extraordinary detail. It knows every old embarrassment that still bothers you. It knows the meaning behind your pauses. It knows what you intended to say before the sentence came out wrong. Other people usually see the surface. You know the whole story. They see one frame. That is why a tiny mistake can feel much larger from inside than from outside. You connect it to your identity. You ask what it says about you. You imagine it changing how people see you. Meanwhile, another person may interpret it as a normal human moment or may not remember it at all. The spotlight effect becomes stronger when you care deeply about the audience. A stranger's opinion may bother you for a few minutes. A friend's opinion can stay with you for days. A job interview can make every gesture feel important because the outcome seems connected to your future. A first date can make a small pause feel dangerous because you want to be understood in a particular way. The more important the judgment feels, the brighter the imaginary spotlight becomes. But there is another twist. You are not only overestimating how much people notice your mistakes, you may also be underestimating how much they notice your feelings. Kenneth Savitsky and Thomas Gilovich studied a related idea called the illusion of transparency. People often believe that their nervousness, embarrassment, or anxiety is obvious to everyone around them. If your heart is racing during a presentation, you may assume the audience can see it. If you feel uncomfortable during a conversation, you may believe your discomfort is written across your face. Yet your inner experience is usually much more intense than your outward signals. You can feel like a storm. Other people may see a calm person speaking. This gap can change behavior. If you believe your anxiety is visible, you may become more anxious. You may monitor your voice, your hands, and your expression. You may try so hard to hide nervousness that the effort itself makes you feel less natural. What if the audience sees far less than you imagine? In one study, Savitsky and Gilovich found that public speakers often believed their nervousness was much more visible than observers thought. When speakers were told about the illusion of transparency, their performance could improve because they stopped treating every internal feeling as public evidence. Your body can send a signal without broadcasting the entire story. That idea is useful because anxiety often creates a closed loop. You notice your heartbeat. You assume others notice it too. You become more self-conscious. Your attention turns inward. Then every small sensation seems even louder. The spotlight grows because you keep looking at it. Modern life can make this effect feel even stronger. For most of human history, your audience was limited. You lived among a relatively small group of people who knew you through repeated contact. Today, a single photo can reach thousands of strangers. A comment can remain visible for years. A video can be replayed, shared, and judged by people you will never meet. The possibility of being watched is now built into ordinary life. Does that mean your fear is finally accurate? Not exactly. Technology creates real audiences, but your brain still fills empty spaces with imagined attention. You may post something and check for reactions repeatedly. You may notice one critical comment among hundreds of neutral or positive responses. You may picture unknown people discussing you, even when there is no evidence that they are. The mind is remarkably skilled at turning possibility into certainty. Social media also changes the shape of the spotlight. Instead of imagining a room, you may imagine an invisible crowd. You cannot see who is paying attention, so your brain may create an audience larger and more focused than the real one. But most people are scrolling through their own lives. They are choosing photos, deleting messages, comparing themselves to others, wondering whether they look strange, wondering why nobody replied. The same attention that seems directed toward you may actually be directed inward by almost everyone involved. There is a strange comfort in that. Your embarrassing moment is not necessarily becoming part of other people's permanent memories. Your awkward sentence is not automatically changing your reputation. Your appearance is not being examined with the same detail you use when looking in the mirror. People notice you. Then life continues. This does not mean nothing you do matters. Your actions affect people. Your words can help or hurt. Your choices can build trust or break it. The spotlight effect is not permission to ignore consequences. It is a correction to the scale. A small mistake is often small. A brief, awkward moment is often brief. A strange look from one person may mean almost anything. Why then does your brain resist this correction? Part of the answer may be evolution. Your ancestors depended on groups for survival. Being accepted could mean protection, food, cooperation, and a chance